Hey, everybody, and welcome to Lords of the Night. With me, as always, is your Lord of Punishment. Say hi, Scribe.
Hi, Scribe.
And your Lord of Pennies, Satsu 2 Cents, is with us as well. Say hello.
Hello.
And I am your Lord of Pain, the Ranting Monkey. And before we get started, ex-Bubba Hotep, thank you so much for the donation. JFK wasn't killed. He was just turned black.
That, like I was telling Satsu, that is a plot point from the film Bubba Hotep.
Aha.
Where Elvis Presley and JFK fight a mummy.
Okay.
I don't know how to process that.
It is actually a really fun movie. You have to see it. It stars Bruce Campbell, oh God, the guy who plays JFK. I suddenly blanked on his name, but you know him when you saw him. He's a very famous character actor, and it's a great flick. It really is. The music's good. The story's funny. It's fun.
Before we go any further, to those of you who are wanting to play 7 Days to Die with me and Satsu today, we'll be doing that after this stream, so hit us up over on 2 Cents Plus to join us there. And if you're here for the Andy Warski and Blaire White thing, that will be coming up at around 10 minutes to the hour. So just so you know, we're still following our normal routine, just a little enticement for the possible viewers.
Ossie Davis, that's what it was. Ossie Davis played JFK.
So how are you guys today?
I've got my Dr. Pepper.
And Satsu's judging you for that.
Oh, yeah. Internally, it's constant, never-ending judgment.
Scribe lied about me on Twitter today, y'all.
Oh.
I have never said I don't like Dr. Pepper. I actually enjoy Dr. Pepper. He confused the cripple with the black guy. Apparently we all look alike to him.
If Monkey will please refresh his memory, such as it is, with exactly how the conversation was going, I was setting it up for the joke of the whole disagreement thing.
Oh wait, your boy Pat's here. Your boy Pat, did you tweet out porn today?
I think he did.
No, porn? No. That's art. Mercedes Carrera's breasts are art because they're man-made.
Good night, baby. I love you. No, if you look at that picture, the titty on the right does not look right. The nipple is way too high. It might just be how she's laying.
Like I said, it's art. It's man-made. You know, it's abstract a little bit.
Yeah, it is abstract. It looks like Picasso did it. But yeah, that was a fucked up titty.
Her titties were cockeyed. I'm just saying.
Cockeyed.
The one titty is cockeyed. She's got a cockeyed titty. Anyway, I'm assuming we have news today.
Oh yeah,
I was enjoying Twitter, so I didn't actually look at any real news.
Well, we got lots of YouTube drama today, but there was some actual news today as well.
Sweet. What do we have going on there?
Turn off my heater there for the background noise, at least for my own satisfaction here. Well, first off, let's go over what has come out of the YouTube shooter in the last 24 hours, because at the time it had just kind of sort of happened and the details were still a little sketchy. Let's see. So the latest is YouTube shooter visited gun range before attacking strangers, police say.
Oh.
Also, Monkey Dick, Jim Jones movies. Hit that like button if you have not already. And many of you have not. You're making Monkey sad just by being here.
You guys know I have a fragile ego. Hit like.
And please share our stuff. Retweet it, or tweet it, or Facebook it, or Instagram it, or Friendster, or AIM. Everybody remembers IRC. You know, put our links out on Merc or something. ICQ, yeah, that too. The woman who opened fire at YouTube headquarters Tuesday practiced shooting at a gun range hours before the attack, police said. She then took her 9mm Smith & Wesson handgun to the Silicon Valley campus and shot 3 people she apparently did not know, San Bernardino Police Chief Ed Barberini said. And that's counter to what was the rumor last night where one of them was an ex-boyfriend or something.
Yeah.
All this because Nassim, however you say that, Najafi Agdam was upset with YouTube's practices and policies. Quote, "We know she was upset with YouTube, and now we've determined that that was the motive," Barberini said. Ogden shot and wounded 3 people before killing herself. 2 of her victims have been released from the hospital, and 1 remains in serious condition. Barberini said the shooter did not have a link to the 3 people she shot. Police are investigating a website that appears to show the same woman accusing YouTube of restricting her videos. CNN is working to confirm the authenticity of the website, which lists 4 YouTube channels, 1 in Farsi, 1 in Turkish, 1 in English, and 1 devoted to hand art. That's the one we were looking at last night.
Yes.
It also lists an Instagram page that focuses on vegan life. The woman's grievances against YouTube appear to focus on censorship and revenue. Quote, there's no equal growth opportunity on YouTube or any other video sharing site. Your channel will grow if they want to, one post reads. YouTube filtered my channels to keep them from getting views. Another post accuses close-minded YouTube employees of putting an age restriction on videos, saying it's aimed at reducing views and discouraging the woman from making new videos. Now, I'm not quite sure if it covers it here, but at least 2 of her family members in the days and hours leading up to this called police to warn them that something might happen.
There's a report out there that the police actually talked to her before this.
Yeah, I read that earlier today. I don't know if they cover that here, but yeah,
It was a BuzzFeed article that I read, yeah.
Yeah, they found her car and talked to her, and they didn't see any red flags, I guess.
Well, the police said they denied that the family made those claims.
Okay, well,
yeah.
Either way, you know.
It's different than we thought last night because, yeah, it definitely seemed like a boyfriend thing, and that's what we kept hearing. But, you know, the sad thing is a lot of people made jokes yesterday before we knew this about her just being pissed off at YouTube.
Yeah, turned out to be true.
And it turned out to be the case. I don't understand being that upset over it. I mean,
well, if
from
you're
what
crazy.
I've seen of her, well, sure. But what I've seen of her channel, it's not like she was sustaining herself from this ever and suddenly lost revenue. It's, I didn't get famous enough. I'm not getting enough money. You're a crazy bitch. It's a good thing that shooting range practice didn't work.
Well, just like with that couple that shot the guy through the chest with a book, or threw a book into his chest. Apparently, you know, your last-ditch effort to get famous on YouTube is to shoot somebody, I guess. I don't know.
Anyway, well, what is the narrative going to be, though? Because, I mean, a lot of the gun people, they started sounding off right away, but now that details are out, like, a lot of them kind of shut up. Because I'm like, well, what do you say? The gun was registered in her name. She went to a gun range and was practicing with it beforehand. Obviously, she got it legally, and there was no issue. So, I mean, what is the narrative now?
And she was a vegan, and she was a woman, and she was non-white, and she wasn't a member of the NRA, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
Polar opposite from the stereotypical shooter.
Did you guys see the stuff about her being trans?
No.
No. Well, nobody knows, but there is a rumor out there that she's trans. Well, I don't know about if rumor is the right word. There's speculation that she might have been trans because if you look at her, I mentioned her Adam's apple yesterday.
Oh yeah, that's true.
She's a manly kind of bitch. But yeah, that's been an argument on Twitter today. And you know what? It doesn't matter if she is or not. If she turns out to be trans, then that'll be the thing. It's toxic masculinity.
Yeah, that's true.
I have no doubt that'll be what it is. But right now, it's not going to be much of a conversation because one, she used a handgun, and they've stopped talking about handguns for some reason, even though they kill a lot of people every year. P-Dog Night. It's my birthday.
What?
P-Dog Night says, hey, everybody, I'm P-Dog Night, and it's my birthday. Well, you know what that means. But before we get to that, Maladjusted one asked me if I did my biking today. I did 2 miles today. Yes, I did. Thank you so much for asking. P-Dog, are you out there? Are you listening? And a 1 and a 2. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Lawyer dog.
Lawyer dog.
Happy birthday to you. You know, guys, we don't plan this out at all. That just worked out perfectly the way he was doing that. Happy birthday, P-Dog. You're wonderful. I love you, dude.
That was the sound of all the neighborhood dogs writhing in agony.
Ex-Bubba Hotep, thank you so much. I know this might seem insensitive, but thankfully, none of these mass shooters have been in Navy SEAL or equivalently trained. Yeah, that would be fucked up. Cryptic, thank you. Mashable made her a white girl with green eyes. I saw that.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Okay, you can kind of get away with the lightening the skin and go, it was just for the screen. Making her eyes green? Are you fucking really?
That was right up there with it was Time magazine that made O.J. Simpson blacker than he actually was back in the day when he was arrested.
Him up. He was as dark as his afro. Yeah.
Let's see. Well, in a different crime story, and one that the initial theories on it, or at least mine, were proven to be absolutely correct because I'm a smart guy, kind of, sort of. Sheriff confirms Jennifer Hart was driving SUV when it went over cliff. Jennifer Hart was driving her family's SUV when it went over a California cliff last week, Mendocino County Sheriff Tom Ullman told HLN's Crime and Justice. The sheriff said Jennifer Hart and spouse Sarah Hart were found wearing seatbelts, but 3 children found in the vehicle were not. Quote, "I'm to the point where I no longer am calling this an accident. I'm calling it a crime," Ullman told HLN. The sheriff said investigators were also looking at a cell phone found near the accident scene on the North California coast. The bodies of Jennifer and Sarah Hart were found on March 26th inside the family's SUV, which had crashed at the rocky shoreline below a cliff. The bodies of 3 of their 6 children, Macris, Jeremiah, and Abigail, were found nearby. But the other 3 children, Devontae, Hannah, and Sierra, are missing. A large-scale search and rescue operation for the 3 missing children continued Wednesday, with about 80 people combing the surrounding area. A tip led authorities to have divers search the water near the coastline about 30 or 40 miles south of the scene, but Ullman said there was nothing yet to report from the search there. So murder-suicide, and the other 3 kids, more likely than not, were washed out to sea after the crash. Because nobody witnessed the crash, and there's a little gray area as to exactly when they went off the cliff and how long they were down there, etc.
Man.
And neighbors had been notifying or attempting to notify Child Protective Services because some of the children were coming to neighbors asking for food because their parents were not feeding them. Apparently, they did not feed their children on occasion, I don't know how often, as a form of punishment for misbehaving.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and so the story I read elsewise was that the authorities checked it out, but by the time they got there, of course, the kids had been coached. There was no evidence, yada, yada, yada. They had nothing to act on, though nothing could happen. But yeah, so one or both of the parents decided to just Thelma and Louise themselves out of a problem. Because apparently Child Protective Services was getting ready to look further into it just before they went off and did this. So they might have gotten wind that they were going to be looked into and decided to just check out.
Yeah, fuck them.
So, there's nothing to do now. Everybody involved is dead. The only question is, of course, the hindsight 2020. Could CPS have done something else, or was something mishandled, or blah, blah, blah. But 6 kids, fucking waste. Just a waste.
In chat, SCW says, go to bed without dinner used to be done all the time. Yeah, but not go 3 days without food. Not go to the point where you actually go begging neighbors for food.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, go to bed without dinner is much different than it's been 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I haven't had a single bite of food.
And now for our daily dose of political news. Trump administration is sending the National Guard to the U.S.-Mexico border.
This is going to be horrible.
Yeah.
Didn't other presidents do this?
This is for a specific reason, though.
Right. Well, I mean, it was all to secure the border, right?
There are, what is it, 1,200 El Salvadorians marching north?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. So President Donald Trump will sign a proclamation directing agencies to deploy the National Guard to the southwest border. Homeland Secretary Christian Nielsen announced Wednesday. But key details like the number of troops, how long they will be deployed, and how much it will cost, and where they will go are still being finalized. Quote, the president has directed that the Department of Defense and the Department of Homeland Security work together with our governors to deploy the National Guard to our southwest border, Nielsen said at the White House. The formal move follows days of public fuming by Trump about immigration policy, during which he has tweeted about immigration legislation in Congress, a caravan of migrants making its way through Mexico, and what he calls weak border laws. But border crossing numbers have been historically low, and a study from DHS last fall determined the border was at its most secure and most impervious to illegal immigration point in history. What? Let me try that again. But border crossing numbers have been historically low, and a study from DHS last fall determined the border was at its most secure and most impervious to illegal immigration point in history.
Horribly worded sentence. Real quick, thank you, Cryptic. They won't be armed, trust me. And thank you, Three-Sided Coring. Couldn't the NG states just say no? No, because the president is still... If he calls them up into active, no, they couldn't. I don't know how that would work with them.
I'm curious as to what Jerry Brown's going to do.
And apparently it's Hondurans, not El Salvadorians. My mistake, guys.
Nielsen cited a historic uptick in border crossings in spring months like April and advertising from smuggling groups, calling it, in part, anticipating. Quote, why not yesterday and tomorrow? Today is the day we want to start this process, Nielsen said. The threat is real, as I mentioned. In a call with reporters, a senior administration official said soon-to-be-released data from the number of attempted border crossings in March will be, quote, a staggering increase from last year, though numbers in March 2017 were at essentially the lowest point in the past 20 years. Well, then anything higher than that could be qualified as a staggering increase. So, it's CNN. Let's see. Where's the Honduran thing? I'm more curious about that part.
See, that's the part, because he made this announcement right after that started becoming a news story, and everybody, if these people, it's like 1,200 of them marching towards our border, and we have military or any law enforcement force there, what are they going to do? Are they going to shoot them if they rush the border?
All right, so let's see. I pulled up a separate story about this because I only know peripherally about this. For 3 consecutive days, President Trump has publicly fretted over a caravan of Hondurans that is making its way north, using the march as a reason to blast Democrats, the government of Mexico, U.S. immigration laws, foreign aid to Central America, and NAFTA. The barrage from the president has angered many in his base, blah, 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 blah. The saga of the caravan, which some estimates place at up to 1,500 people at its peak, became national news as soon as Trump started tweeting about it on Easter Sunday after it was featured on that morning's edition of Fox and Friends. Trump warned Honduras that he would cut off foreign aid if it didn't do more to stop its citizens from leaving. He warned the government of Mexico that if the caravan isn't stopped, he would punish the country during the ongoing renegotiation of NAFTA. He blamed Democrats for refusing to change U.S. immigration laws or build his long-promised border wall, saying they prefer, quote, open borders, drugs, and crime. Yeah, okay. I'm skipping down a bit. For several years, immigrants trying to flee their home countries have banded together in larger groups to protect themselves from criminals who try to isolate immigrants and take advantage of them. Pueblo Sin Fronteras, People Without Borders, is a U.S.-based humanitarian group accompanying the Hondurans to act as human rights observers and offer them legal advice along the way. The group said smaller groups of immigrants often fall victim to all kinds of crimes. The group said immigrants traveling in large numbers make it easier to, quote, protect themselves from dangers such as extortion, robbery, murder, sexual assault, torture, and deportation.
Yeah, those are all the same.
How are you protecting yourself from deportation? If law-abiding, federally mandated customs officials, whatever country they may be coming from, approach you and say, go away, How are you protecting yourself from that?
Real quick, the Nuggets. When do I get a wrench? Thank you for the donation. Oh, and just got another one. Thank you, Diesel Dave. He's the commander in chief. They are part of the armed forces. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not quite sure how that breaks down with the state because they're the state National Guard, but I know governors can call them up. I don't know if they can refuse.
Yeah. I don't think so. But anyway, so that's the gist on the caravan.
Save them from rape, murder, and deportation. One of these things is not like the other.
Yeah, deportation. Like I said, I'm really curious to know what their explanation is of how they, what are the procedures to protect illegal immigrants from deportation as they march north into countries to which they don't belong to.
Beats the fuck out of me.
Yeah. Let's see. And the only other story I had was one that kind of popped up just before the stream started. And this is scary, especially if you live in Denver. Past surgical patients at a Denver hospital may be at risk of HIV and hepatitis, state warns.
Jesus.
A sterilization breach at Porter Adventist Hospital in Denver may have put patients at risk for infection of HIV, hepatitis B, or hepatitis C, according to a release from the Colorado State Health Department. The hospital is notifying people who had orthopedic or spine surgery between July 21st, 2016 and February 20th, the release said. Quote, the process for cleaning surgical instruments following orthopedic and spine surgeries was found to be inadequate, which may have compromised the sterilization of the instruments, the release said. There have been no reports of infections related to the breach, and the risk of getting human immunodeficiency virus or hepatitis is very low, the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment said. There is also no risk to current patients, the department said. So they're just being overcautious, but why specifically HIV and hepatitis, I wonder? Who was at the hospital that they weren't cleaning their tools correctly? Anyway,
it's not like you can just get AIDS because your needle was dirty. It has to be infected with it.
Mm-hmm. But that's all the news I had pulled up.
Yeah. Good news day.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. Death and destruction, people getting shot. The Hondurans marching north. I mean, I obviously failed at world geography. How many countries separate Honduras and the U.S. border?
I'm not sure.
Let's see. Map of the world, because I'm a dumb American who doesn't know. I'm not some dumb American. I'm just a dumb American.
What is it, Central America?
Okay, so Honduras, you've got Guatemala, and then Mexico, and then the United States. Yeah, so two, at least minimum two, yeah. Yeah, so I don't know what Guatemala is going to do. I don't know what Mexico is going to do, but they have a long way to travel if they're just sort of marching north. It's going to take them a while. Mexico's not exactly a small spot of land.
No. I just want to know what happens when they get to our border.
Yeah, when and if.
That's going to be interesting.
Did you guys have any other stuff to talk about news-wise?
Like I said, the only news that I did see today was about the YouTube shooter, and there's not a whole lot more to say about that crazy cunt. So,
yeah.
What about MSS News? Guys, if there's a story you'd like us to take a look at, hit us up on Twitter at hashtag MSS News. Can't promise we'll get to them all, but we do what we can. And you guys have been great with getting us stories, so thank you so much for that.
Well, the headline of this one becomes superhero territory real quick. Indian woman Rupali Meshram fights off tiger with a stick.
Damn!
This is brought to us by Subcon Jazz. A young Indian woman was lucky to survive, doctors say, after she fought off a tiger which attacked her goat. Rupali Meshram, 23, said that when she heard the goat scream, she ran out of her house in western Maharashtra state. I don't know how to say that. She picked up a stick and hit the tiger, which then attacked her. Her mother, who was also injured, saved her by pulling her inside the house. They both sustained only minor injuries and have now been discharged from hospital. The goat did not survive.
Poor goatie.
Miss Meshram took a selfie of her bloodied face soon after the attack, which happened last week but has only just come to light. A doctor who treated her praised her exemplary courage in fighting off the tiger. I don't know if courage is the word I would use. I would have stayed indoors and just let the goat die and then call the authorities or something.
But she loved her goat.
I guess so.
But this count as a third world problem when you got to fight off a tiger for your goat?
Well, a third world problem where she had a phone that she took a selfie with. So she could have called for help rather than run outdoors with a stick. So
thank you, Cryptic. Current rule is if they cross the border and ask for asylum, they are to be released on this side of the border. Obama rule that still exists. Yeah, but that's if they cross the border.
Let's see. Another one from Subcon Jazz. I think we mentioned, I know you and I, Monkey, mentioned this, or at least talked about it on Twitter yesterday. DNA test reveals fertility doctor used his own sperm to impregnate patient.
Oh, yeah.
When people send away samples for DNA testing, they're often hoping the results can help them trace the lineage of their families over centuries and across continents. But when Kelly Roulette received her results from Ancestry.com, she discovered a much closer connection, about 500 miles away from where she lives, dating back to May 20th, 1981, her own birthday. The results showed Roulette's biological father was not the man she'd always known, but a stranger named Gerald Mortimer, a man she later found out had been her parents' fertility doctor and had impregnated her mother with his own sperm without her mother's knowledge or consent. Last week, Roulette filed a lawsuit in U.S. District Court in Idaho against Mortimer, his wife Linda McKinnon Mortimer, and Obstetrics and Gynecology Associates of Idaho Falls, seeking $10 million in damages for fraud, medical negligence, battery, and several other charges related to the alleged deception. For years before Roulette was born, her parents, Sally Ashby and Howard Fowler, struggled to conceive, according to court documents. Eventually, they sought professional help from Mortimer, who diagnosed Ashby with a tipped uterus and Fowler with low sperm count and low sperm motility. The doctor's solution for the couple: inseminate Ashby with a sperm cocktail containing 85% of Fowler's genetic material and source the rest from a donor. The couple agreed with a few conditions. The donor sperm had to come from a college student who looked like Fowler with brown hair, blue eyes, and over 6 feet tall. Sometime later, Mortimer claimed to have found just the right specimen. Only he hadn't, the lawsuit alleges. So this goes on for a while, but that's the gist, and that's disgusting.
Thank you, Three-Sided Coin. Hey, her father's a doctor. Yeah.
There you go.
Wouldn't it be funny if it turned out that what actually happened is the mom slept with the doctor?
That'd be hilarious.
But when you brought this up yesterday, I did mention there was a big case. This was way back in 1989. I lived in Virginia at the time. There was a doctor who did this, and I had to look it up yesterday to get all the numbers again. They think he may have fathered 75 children. They know he at least fathered 15. He was a fertility doctor. I don't know how you trust these people. And
I believe they took that story and turned it into an episode of Law and Order, because there's an episode of Law and Order that's almost exactly the same. Yeah,
because they even did it. He was being investigated for something else, which is exactly what happened on the Law and Order episode.
Right.
And they just kind of tripped into the fact that he was knocking up people with his own juices.
Let's see. This one comes from Raymond Lewis. This might be more of a deep topic because it does come from the root. From most hated to American hero, the whitewashing of Martin Luther King Jr.
Oh, fuck off.
There is a recipe for making a hero. Yes, it's called the Super Soldier Serum, and Dr. Erskine made that back in World War II, and he infused it into the body of Steve Rogers. Oh, wait, sorry. I'm thinking of something else, something that's fictional, like this is. Greatness is neither the singular nor most necessary ingredient. Fame is important because no matter how benevolent or worthy someone's actions may be, people must know about them. And though it might seem antithetical, hate is a crucial factor. Abraham Lincoln was disliked by many Americans when he was assassinated by John Wilkes Booth. John F. Kennedy only had a 58% approval rating when he was killed in 1963. People even lined the streets to hurl insults at the man called Jesus of Nazareth as he carried the cross on which he would eventually be crucified. Which brings us to the most important ingredient in the making of a martyr. There must be blood. This week, America will commemorate the 50th anniversary of the assassination of the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr., the most famous and beloved civil rights leader in the nation's history. Lost in the remembrance of the death of our nation's most heralded warrior for social justice is the fact that, at the time of his death, King was a man in exile. Contrary to popular belief, when King died, he was not an icon of freedom and equality. In fact, most of the country disliked him. Sadly, on April 4th, 1968, a blood splattered bits of Martin Luther King Jr.'s brains and blood across the balcony of Memphis, Tennessee's Lorraine Motel. Then, and only then, was white America ready to make him a hero. Okay. So, fuck you.
Yeah.
Cool story, bro.
Yeah. The opinions of the past do not apply on reflection. Okay, the country improved over time. Yes, people disagreed with King. People agreed with King. Some people were indifferent to King. Just like they are with everything that happens. It doesn't matter if it's an issue. I mean, Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, all this stuff happens. And depending on what it is that they were doing, if they die suddenly or otherwise, especially if they die, as a result of what they were doing, they may become a martyr for some people. But fortunately for us, King became a martyr. Not that I'm not saying he became a martyr, that's fortunate. I'm saying that he only became a martyr because he actually accomplished something. He accomplished something great. He changed the fucking country, or helped to.
No, you're just saying that because you were told to, white boy.
Yeah. I was just raised on the ethics that he sort of like instilled in our consciousness. Yeah, anyway, I could go on, but I think I'll move on to a different story. Why am I seeing Hillary Clinton's face?
Prospero said he was already beloved when he was murdered, for fuck's sake. He was to a lot of people. Yeah. And the same thing is true of JFK. Yes, JFK was in Dallas that day because he was trying to get his poll numbers up. Mm-hmm. He was campaigning and he got shot. And believe it or not, with what the reverence he's held in now, there were some people who were like, I'm glad that fucker got shot. Thank you, Sanguine. Has the left hooked Martin Luther King up to a generator and they are just now trying to get him to revolve in his grave fast enough to get the clean energy? Yeah, I don't know what they're trying to do. Well,
the Washington Post today, again, as I've seen so many times, equated MLK with Black Lives Matter.
Oh, fuck them.
Yeah.
But there were people, even at that time, who were happy Martin Luther King died. They're assholes. That's not reflective of all white people, you stupid shit. Anyhow, sorry.
What is this? Massive Dynamics sends us this one. I'm trying to piece out the headline here. Okay. Women describe themselves, quote, as a male author would, unquote, in Twitter challenge gone viral. As a male author would.
How do male authors do it different than female authors?
That reminds me of that line in As Good as It Gets with Jack Nicholson, where the secretary lady comes up to him and says, because Jack Nicholson's playing an author of like romance stories or something, and she comes up to him and says, "How do you write women so well?" And he says, "I think of a man, and I take away reason and accountability."
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Real quick, thank you, P-Dog Knight. I'm glad that fucker got shot. Ranting Monkey 2018. I added the 2018, so we have a timestamp.
One tweet read, quote, "Carolyn was old, period, and fat, period. Wore glasses, ... She may have won a Nobel in her day, but she was nothing to look at." So that's what you think a man would think to write about you. We call that projection. Yes, that's apparently what it is. Women describe themselves as a male author would in a Twitter challenge.
Okay, so I get it now.
Yeah.
It's as though they were a character in one of their books.
Right. A Twitter challenge to
Okay.
describe yourself like a male author would has gone viral, with thousands of women writing tongue-in-cheek introductions to themselves as fictional characters.
I thought what they were talking about is like, you know, how I would describe myself as fucking awesome. And they were like, well, if a woman were to describe themselves as a ranting monkey would, they would say they're fucking awesome. That's what I thought they were talking about. Sorry about that. A little confusion on my part.
Yeah.
No, it's just a bunch of assumptive shit that women are assuming about men and the way that they talk and think to confirm their own fucking personal issues. Fuck it. I ain't got it.
I mean, most of these read like, hey, everybody, I'm self-conscious, and I want you to know that I'm self-conscious.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fat and ugly.
Let's see. This one is from someone named Lily Beth Chung. It says, insert something about being mixed race and how that makes me petite and inherently submissive, but juxtapose it with the idea of me being adorably aggressive, and I will stand up for myself, but make it sound endearing. So she didn't even write something about herself. She just gave sort of a commentary about herself. Okay.
Is any of that stuff true?
I don't know. I mean, let me check her.
Is she endearing? Because she doesn't seem to be.
Well, her picture on her Twitter account makes her seem like she's probably small, and if she says so, she's mixed race. Endearing? I don't know. I whatever. I don't care.
Men's was mean.
Let's see. Oh, here it is. Carolyn was old. Not sure how old. Doesn't matter. Too old for the likes of me. And fat. Wore glasses. No makeup. It's like she gave up trying to be attractive for men. Or women. Whichever. I'm not sexist. She may have won a Nobel in her day, but she sure was nothing to look at. It sounds like you have personal problems.
Yeah, that really sounds like some projection shit right there.
Oh God! Here's this. Oh, this is the best, and by the best I mean the most. Oh God! Let's be realistic. As a middle-aged woman in tech, no male author would describe me ever. And if you look at this person's picture, if you had not told me that this was supposed to be a female, I would have had a hard time telling that it was.
Of course.
Oh wait, but that's insulting. I'm being insulting and harassing or something. So anyway, that's a story, I guess, if that's what qualifies as a story now.
The title of that story should be "Women Does Yet Another Pointless Thing for No Reason."
Yeah, could you send that to me?
I
need a video topic, and I think I could have fun with that one.
I can send this to you.
I'm going to describe them myself.
There you go. Actually, you should describe yourself as a woman author would describe you, as a retort to this. That's what I think.
It would be nothing but pulsing members everywhere. What?
Nothing. How many are we talking about?
It's just one. It just comes at you so fast, it seems like there's many.
It comes at you so fast, you say?
It does.
Let's see. Tiny Bun sent us the story about Channel Awesome, which is YouTube drama, which I plan on at least touching on when we get to YouTube drama time.
Sure.
So I'll set that one aside. But I
I'd
have heard.
actually.
Sorry.
I'd actually like to keep the main YouTube drama story that I had towards the end, because I'd like to move that into deep topic too.
Let's see. Oh, okay. This one comes from senior staff reporter and chief Florida correspondent Colleen Bernier. I don't think this is a Florida story though. Yeah, this is like from the I don't know, like Canada maybe. Anyway, rescuers save, quote unquote, realistic sex doll found floating in the water. This actually comes from March 12th, but I hadn't heard it before. Emergency services responded to Padapolsterweg in Groningen. I don't know where the hell that is. Sounds like Swedish or something, or the Netherlands. En masse on Sunday after a passerby reported a body in the water. Closer inspection revealed that it was not a person at all, but a realistic sex doll. The passerby reported the body around 3:45 p.m. on Sunday. Emergency services responded with a large number of personnel because clothes were also found on the side of the water, according to ANP. Boating traffic in the area was halted for a time. At the scene, rescuers discovered the victim was actually a doll. Quote, one from the erotic industry, very realistic one, not a blow-up doll, a police spokesman said.
Some wife got mad that her husband had a blow-up doll.
Yeah.
Or some dude broke up with his
Broke up with his doll.
It ain't listening. In the case of a water landing, your blow-up doll can be used as a flotation device.
This also comes from Colleen. This isn't good. Uh-oh. This is a Florida story, though. A Florida man story.
Really good.
Bless you.
Bless you.
As a video is trying to play. Is it going to play? Yes, no? Okay. Disney bus driver arrested in undercover child sex sting.
Fuck.
A Disney bus driver was arrested last week after driving to Polk County to meet a person he thought was a 15-year-old girl, but was actually a sheriff's deputy.
Good.
Quote, I did something completely expletive, stupid, that I never should have done in the first place, Kevin Van Orman, 35, of South Daytona, told deputies, according to his arrest affidavit. Quote, I came to meet a 15-year-old girl, one thing I never should have, expletive, done. I lost my wife, my house, my kids, my truck.
His truck?
His truck, yeah.
Yeah. My wife, my house, my kids, and that damn truck that I love so much.
Now, if you just tell me you lost your dog, you've almost got a country song.
Yeah.
Van Orman faces charges of attempted lewd battery, traveling to lure a child, and using a computer to solicit or lure a child. He was released from jail on $7,000 bail after his arrest March 25th. Van Orman was talking to two separate undercover deputies on the Whisper app. Whisper app. I don't know that one. Quote, I'm only 15, though, just so you know, one of the deputies wrote to Van Orman. That's okay, Van Orman replied, then offered to come over. Quote, we can cuddle, watch TV, and whatever else you would like. I can even massage you, unquote.
Real quick, I have a super chat from Sanguine. Thank you so much. The room was full of female authors, all of which had their collective nose turned up at the mere thought of a male describing female characters. Each was as insufferable and bland as the next. Snaps. You get snaps for that one.
Let's see. Okay, we got...
This was a Disney bus ride. I just want to touch on this for a second, because we had the Nickelodeon dude recently. If you run a company that primarily caters to children, you need to do a better fucking job with watching your people. And I know you can't catch it all, but there's too many of these lately. Get the pedos out.
This comes again from Colleen Bernier. This might be up there for a Darwin Award this year, or at least an honorable mention. Man dies after swallowing cocaine at Florida traffic stop.
Good job, dumbass.
A man died Tuesday morning after swallowing 7 grams of cocaine during a traffic stop, according to the Santa Rosa. Jesus Christ. On Monday night, an unidentified man was stopped for a traffic incident. He was arrested and charged with a suspended license and possession of a controlled substance. Before he was taken into custody, deputies say they saw him swallow a small object. He was checked by the sheriff's office medical team and placed in a close watch cell for observation. All right, my first question is, why didn't the sheriffs pat him down before they put him in somewhere he could like get his hands to his mouth? Why wasn't he cuffed?
It's a good question.
Tuesday at 5:45 a.m., the man admitted to swallowing 7 grams of cocaine and was taken by an ambulance to a hospital. He was pronounced dead at the hospital. The sheriff's office is investigating.
Grams.
Yeah, this something is missing from this story as to how they stopped him. They arrested him for possession of a controlled substance, so they knew he had something, but yet they didn't pat him down ahead of him being able to swallow it. That's weird.
They said they saw him do it. Maybe it was right as they were getting to him or something?
Before he was taken into custody, deputies say they saw him swallow a small object.
Yeah, so it was before he was arrested.
Okay. Before all right. Okay.
We can give him that one. We can give him that. That's
all
okay.
Right. They should have pumped his stomach, regardless.
They should, yeah. Well, he probably should have admitted to what he did a little bit sooner.
That's true.
Jesus fuck. Guys, 7 grams is it might not seem like a lot because it's in grams, but cocaine wise, that's a party, y'all. Not that I've never done coke. Just throwing that out there.
Sure. We'll do one more if that's okay, Monkey.
Yeah. One more, and then we'll get into YouTube.
And lastly, this also comes from Colleen Bernier because he just gives us so much good stuff. And we're back in Florida again. Florida woman sets ex-boyfriend on fire during Easter dinner.
Oh, I saw this headline. Oh my God, yes.
An Altamont Springs woman is facing attempted homicide charges after police say she sprayed gasoline on her ex-boyfriend and set him on fire Easter Sunday. Police say Siobhan Perez, 38, asked her ex-boyfriend to fix a leaking pipe in her bathroom when he was over for Easter dinner. While the man, who police have not identified, was fixing the pipe, he told police he noticed Perez holding a container. When he asked Perez what was inside the container, she responded, "It's gasoline, you son of a bitch," according to a police report. Perez began spraying the man with gasoline while saying, "You are going to pay," police said. The ex-boyfriend soon noticed he was on fire and began taking his clothes off and trying to extinguish the flames. He noticed Perez was locking the front door to prevent him from leaving the burning apartment while spraying fluid on the living room floor. The victim, who was severely burned on his face, chest, neck, arm, and hand, was taken to Orlando Regional Medical Center. Before firefighters arrived at the apartment, Perez ran back inside to save her dog. She suffered from smoke inhalation and had to be intubated and sedated at Orlando Regional Medical Center. Perez faces charges of attempted homicide, arson, and kidnapping. She's being held in jail without bond.
What a crazy bitch. Holy fuck.
What the fuck did he do?
That doesn't, they don't say. Just that you'll pay, you son of a bitch, or you will pay, or whatever.
I mean, okay. Question, just for kicks.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that someone would have to do for you to set them on fire as a consequence?
Demonetize my videos.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, wait. Well, I mean, if someone's nuts, it doesn't take anything but the sense of a slight or the sense of being betrayed. I don't know what to tell
you. They would have to, like, harm my family, like, physically harm them.
Yeah.
And then I'd watch them burn up without a second thought. But
I wouldn't burn. I wouldn't set anybody on fire. I can't imagine. Well, if I don't have children, okay. If I had children and something happened to my kid, you know, thoughts would go through my mind. But in the situation I'm in right now, I can't imagine a situation of anything that would cause me to want to set someone on fire. That's a really messy way to do it if I'm going to be, you know, hurting somebody.
Yeah, there's cleaner ways and less loud ways.
And less ways that you're going to end up burning your own shit down.
Yeah, she poured gasoline on the living room floor
of her own apartment.
What a fucking crazy bitch.
Well, did you guys see that video from a while back of that chick who fucking set her house on fire because her husband and shit and her kids were just like, she was like, "I'm underappreciated, nobody cares what I'm saying." Yeah, and she sat on the flaming couch.
Yeah.
I think you missed Slim One. Bitches be crazy. Yes, they do.
Mm-hmm.
And chilling on the couch.
Yeah,
while that bitch was burning.
So with that, guys, thank you so much for all the stories that you guys send us over there. It really does help us out, and I like a lot of them. A lot of them are funny, and some of them are just like, I could have lived without knowing this, but crazy bitch who sets herself on fire or burns her own shit down to teach a guy a lesson about leaving her. I think he got the lesson, sweetie. I think he made the right choice. With that, we are on to YouTube time, and per tradition, Satsu, what'd you do today?
I did a video about Far Cry and the culture that's going on around this game, because I've been looking at a lot of articles that I've been seeing, and weirdly enough, most of them, and these are coming from like a lot of high-profile gaming outlets, aren't talking about the game and whether or not it's good. They're all either bitching about the fact that it's not political enough, or trying to talk about the implications of whatever political, you know, aim the game seems to have. And so in some cases, people were even rating the game based on almost solely that fact. Like I'm looking at reviews of people talking about the game, and very little, just the description of the game itself was about the game, or whether or not it was fun, or the graphics were nice, or if it played well, or if it had any bugs. They just harped on about the fucking political ramifications of the game and almost seemingly graded it based on that. And isn't
that how you decide how to play games?
No, nobody does.
I remember, because I remember there was this. It was a presumption almost completely coming from game sites and not from the company itself that was making it or anything, that because the setting was seemingly sort of in backwoods in the South, either, Appalachia kind of territory or like whatever in the back country kind of thing. Therefore, you would be attacking political conservatives and killing off a bunch of political zealots, where in fact, it's basically like if you took the People's Temple and the Branch Davidians and let them have their own giant town, and it's a cult.
Yeah,
and they've got a semi-Christian-ish sort of aesthetic to it. I've watched a lot of game footage. It is a fun game to watch people play. Of course, most Far Cry things are, because you watch the guys be all stealthy and take out bases and stuff. But sorry, what?
Said I can't wait to play it.
Oh yeah, no, it looks. It looks like every other Far Cry game since 3. I mean, the graphics have improved a bit, and some of the mechanics are different. But yeah, it's a cult. It's like a dozen other games where a cult is the bad guy, but it's not. Yeah, it's not political. It's just, they are a crazy cult who are trying to drug the territory or get ready to mind control people or something, and they've got a ideology that's all quasi Christian based, and you have to kill them.
Well, what's interesting about it is the fact that they take some political shots. Like they talk about like some of the rhetoric that a lot of the characters say is talk about the wall, and they reference look who's in charge right now, whatever, which is kind of like a shot at Trump. And they but I think the complaint was they didn't take a stand or do anything about it. Like it was just like they presented it to you and said, here, this is a thing. But people were mad for the same reason that people get mad when you invite, say, for instance, an alt-righter onto your channel to have a discussion. They're like, you didn't challenge him enough. It's almost that same argument where they're like, okay, you presented this thing, but where's the fucking stance against it? And I'm like, there's no need for that.
Well, also, you don't, and I can't speak for was it Ubisoft who made it or whatever?
Yeah,
I can't speak for them, but at the same time, don't you not want to completely date your game in a particular era or anything when you have something that's, like Far Cry 3, you could play that today and, except for maybe a couple of aesthetic things, you couldn't tell that you were sort of outside the realm of time and space or whatever and trying to put yourself in that situation. Same thing with Far Cry 4. So yeah, there's some inside jokes and things, but they can't make it a political video game. And sorry, you got a couple super chats.
Yeah, thank you, Snubber. For Far Cry Story, do enjoy it better than the last two. I actually think it looks like a really interesting story. There's actually been a couple of TV shows that kind of revolve around the same kind of stuff.
Oh, The Path is a good one. Yeah, if you The Path, yeah.
And Maladjusted One, thank you. Satsu fucked up his video title today, and that's what he did today. Satsu Nation. Real quick, I should bring this up. Monday Matt's in the chat. How you doing, Matt?
Hey, Matt.
He asked Mining Freedom which system he's giving Far Cry 5 away on. Mining Freedom over on his Twitch channel is giving away a copy of Far Cry 5. As well as the season pass. Somebody bought it for him and he can't use it, so he's using it as a giveaway, guys. So if you are not following him on Twitch, make sure you do so. And if you win the game, remember, I really, really want it.
The one thing in the footage I've seen so far that I think I like the most is some of the music, even like the bad guys' music that they're playing in their little hymns and all that stuff. It reminds me a lot of the kind of music you heard in "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?"
Oh yeah,
and so it is kind of like gospel, old time religion stuff. But even if it is the bad guys' music, it's still very kind of soothing and catchy in a way. Yeah.
I do need to point out, I'm sorry, Mining Freedom, that he's giving it away on PC. I don't remember if I mentioned that.
Yeah, PC. But what I've seen so far, the footage, like I say, since Far Cry 3, 3, 4, and 5, they all pretty much operate the same, except that now Far Cry 5 has co-op where you can, I guess, play in the storyline rather than just like a multiplayer team on team kind of thing, which I think is a new feature. So and the character you play, so far as I can tell, doesn't have an identity. Like Far Cry 3 and 4, well, hell, I can think back to the first one. You were playing as a named character in the story. This one, you're just called the Rookie, and even though you're part of a narrative, your identity isn't part of the story so much as it was in the previous games.
I think they did that too. Like my whole thing when I found that out, that your character is not specific. I mean, like you're an officer and you're going to arrest these people, or at least that's what it's supposed to be. Like I figured they did that because they're like, okay, here's the political scenario. Like it's up to you to decide what you think about it. You know what I mean? You got this blank slate character. This is your interpretation, and you leave thinking however you want about it. And I like games like that kind of offer you that, okay, instead of us beating you upside the head, telling you this thing is bad, we put you in a place where you experience it and then you decide for yourself. And I'm like, that's cool. I could deal with that.
Yeah. And it appears, and like I said, I haven't played the game. I've only seen mostly action clips and things and like fails and glitches and stuff. It appears that there are points in the story where you can make a choice as to whether you do X or Y, and that'll change the outcome of some plot points, because there are a couple of different endings that can happen depending on what you do. So yeah, that was in Far Cry 3. That's kind of been a staple, but the Far Cry 3 one was sort of like you get to make the big choice right at the end, and there wasn't really anything leading up to it. But,
right.
But still, so far, I haven't seen too much of the villains and everything. So far, none of the Far Cry villains have topped Voss from Far Cry 3.
Voss was awesome.
Voss was amazing. Absolutely amazing. So anyway, well, we talked about Far Cry 5 now, giving them plenty of ad time.
Did you have more to say about your video in particular, Satsu?
Not really.
Overtook you there.
No, I mean, it's just letting you guys know that that's what I talked about. And if you guys want to check it out and see my opinions on it, go ahead and check it out. I'm just concerned that like we're getting to the point to where there's enough major outlets that are kind of getting to the point where they're pushing this narrative that, you know, that shit is the most important when it comes to games, and a game is somehow less because of it does not, you know, aim to, you know, politically drive a movement or to push some type of agenda, and that's problematic for me. So
problematic, bitch.
So
it's not allowed on this show.
Problematic.
Scribbles, what'd you work on?
I'm looking at a video about it's something that I haven't touched on quite a while, but I came across it today. Restorative justice.
Oh, God.
And for those of you that don't know what restorative justice is, this is, in simple terms, because it could go on forever, it's an alternative way of adjudicating punishment in society that either finds alternatives to imprisonment or does away with incarceration altogether. And I haven't gotten through all their spiel yet, but the initial premise is let's create a world where there is no incarceration, period. And I'm like, okay, I'm open to hearing your pitch. And that's basically where I'm at. I just started working on it today, so it might be a day or two before I'll have a video out. Granted that I get through it and it's something that I can work on. So that's what I'm looking at right now.
Thank you, Maladjusted One. What next? A political version of Candyland? Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Candy Crush.
Stormy Daniels Land.
Yay! I'd play that game.
Me too. Titties everywhere.
Yay!
I didn't work on anything, guys. I am gonna take a serious look, and see what I can do with that article we read, because that amused me quite a bit. But with that, let's move on. I told people we'd be at 10 minutes to the hour. We're late there. Sorry about that. I know you guys tuned in to hear about the drama. So what's going on with that guy with the glasses, dude? What's it?
So over the last several days, there's been a lot of drama coming out of the, Channel Awesome, and or that guy with the glasses. They're kind of basically one and the same. The biggest event, I suppose, is that a relatively lengthy Google document has been released to the public, which goes on for several pages and details in bullet point format from several different former members of that guy with the glasses, or I guess presenters or content creators for it, all the problems and dramas and misdeeds that have taken place there from their personal point of view, and how it's been going on for years, and the mismanagement and everything else. Apparently just, I don't know exactly all the dominoes that led up to this point, but it's been going on for a long time, because if anybody who's been watching Spoonie or Cinema Snob or Nostalgia Critic or any of those, or Linkara for any amount of time, you know there's always some behind-the-scenes hijinks going on in one form or another. And this has been going on for the better part of 10 years or more. So it's no big surprise, but apparently it's come to a head now, and it's serious enough that the bad PR might be bringing down the entire shebang, depending on how you look at it. Now, the guy who does Down the Rabbit Hole was reading the entire document live just before the stream started, and I was listening to a bit of it, and some of the stories these people were telling, and the situations that they were talking about are like one of the things that the Channel Awesome guys would do would, like, on a yearly or bi-yearly basis, they would have a crossover big event where all of them would show up and do like a little mini movie or some kind of thing, because these guys ended up being sort of like comic book characters after a fashion, because they became their own little personalities, and then they had like crossover events. So they were talking about one of these movies and some of the stuff that didn't make it on film, some of the stuff they were made to do even though they didn't want to, and some of the things are just so weird. Like, there was a part of a script where like one character was supposed to be implying he was raping another character, except that these are real people who kind of go by their own names, basically, or their own handles.
That's creepy.
And they're like, I don't want to do this. And then there's also these little vignettes where they talk about how they were told to wait in an attic or a basement or something while they got some shots ready, and they sat there for hours and hours and hours waiting and didn't leave. And I heard some other people say that, why didn't they just stand up and leave? They're grown adults. It's like, you guys are just wasting my time. It's because they were so afraid to get in bad with the guys there, because there was so much money coming in. The thing was, though, so far as I know, except for like the main people, none of these guys were actually employees of Channel Awesome. All they did was host their content. There was no contracts or anything. So any ad revenue they got through Channel Awesome just happened to be as a consequence of them being posted on Channel Awesome. Very weird situation, sort of cliquish, sort of cultish sounding. I don't know all the details, but it's very odd. And the people who eventually escaped it have nothing but bad things to say.
Yeah, so we'll be keeping an eye out on that.
Matt. As Matt was here, there was I don't know much about it, but there's a whole bunch of stuff going on about Matt today on the Twitter machine.
Yes. Matt. Matt and Andy were at it again. Because Andy didn't just get in a fight with Blaire White. There was also the stuff with Matt, and Matt, to his credit, came out and apologized. Said I don't want to take him out or misquote him. But he was wrong. At one point, Matt posted a private DM between him and Andy. And if you know me, my DMs are sacred to me. If you say something to me privately, it stays private. So I saw that. I was like, ooh, and he later apologized for it. The bigger one was, for some reason today, Andy Warski decided he was going to start shit with Blaire White. Now, if you've been following Andy for any length of time, him starting shit with people is not new. But this one was so weird, even by Warski standards, because he was upset that Blaire unfollowed him on Twitter like a month ago.
Seriously?
Seriously, that's what the drama was about today.
That's very high school.
Andy says that he thought Blaire should have DM'd him. And this became an argument on Twitter about whether or not, if you unfollow somebody, especially if you like friends, you should send them a DM to let them know. And I'm like, the fuck are you talking about? Since when did this become a thing? If I unfollow somebody on Twitter, it's usually because I don't want to hear from them. I don't do it very often. If you look, anyone I followed, I still follow. But I also just understand that if somebody unfollows me, it's probably because they didn't like something I said. So I'm okay with them unfollowing me because chances are I'm going to say something similar again. You know what I mean? It just makes sense to me that if what I'm saying to you is offending you, you should just go away so you don't have to see it.
Yeah, sometimes I'll unfollow something or other if like they're spamming, if it's like all I see in my newsfeed is just a bunch of stuff and it's not relevant to anything. And that's usually news sites or stuff that I follow just for the sake of being informed on things. But it's rarely people. Rarely does anybody individually like annoy me to the point I want to unfollow them.
Thank you, Bubba Hotip. I'm going to, unlike this video, I'm sending you this message because I thought you should know. Kiss my butt. Terry Diamandis, do you think Andy started shit with Blaire to prove he's retarded enough to win JF's heart? Oh my God. And thank you, Cassie. Andy's just trying to get her on his show. And
that's a weird way to do it.
There's a behind the scenes dynamic, and I don't know all of it. I really don't. I know some of it. There was a group of these YouTubers who were friends or friendly. And they include people like Shoe on Head, Armored Skeptic, Blaire, Andy, Jeff, some black guy. Who else was in this kind of clique? Anyway, how close of friends they all got to be, I don't know. But if you think Andy is actually, Andy seems, to me at least, seems genuinely hurt that some of these people aren't his friends anymore. And he actually said, because when I saw all this blow up on YouTube or on Twitter today, I went over and caught the end of the Kumite. It was actually just wrapping up, so I backed up like 15 minutes to about when all of this started. And he specifically mentions that Blaire, Shoe on Head, and Armor Skeptic, and I think it was Shoe on Head, all unfollowed him on the same day. I could not tell you who's following me right now. I honestly couldn't. If Scribe stopped following me tomorrow, the only way I would eventually know it is to be like, I haven't seen Scribe post about, our show going up recently.
Aren't there like apps or something that'll do that work for you and alert you when things?
I'm sure there are, but
okay. I wouldn't care as much to know. I barely know when people decide to follow me. I think it's the only notification I get. It's like, XYZ has followed you. Like, oh, okay, cool. I don't get a notification that says somebody unfollowed me, as far as I know.
Exactly. Yeah. So I don't know how you would even know that these three people all unfollowed you on the same day. But Andy was fucking vicious towards Blaire. Called her a garbage human, kept saying she was fake. Now, if somebody follows you when they don't like you, I would say that's fake. If they're not following you because they don't like you, that seems pretty on the up and up to me. Lucky Pop Tart saw, they were hanging out with Jeff the day before. Andy believes Jeff caused it. From what Blaire has said, she unfollowed Andy before she ever hung out with Jeff. So there's a timeline problem there.
Oh man, I wish I could add to this somehow, but
dude, boy, this is my drug. It's okay. Drama is my drug. I was so happy watching this today.
I do like drama, I ain't gonna lie, but like the squabbles between YouTubers, man, Jesus Christ. I'd rather watch paint dry.
Well, I mean, this in particular, it's just about it, like I said before, it's high school. It's like as petty, a weak-egoed kind of thing. Now, I mean, part of me wants to, I don't even know if this is extending the benefit of the doubt, but I like to believe, for the most part, that, Andy Warski, Blaire, I mean, well, this is mostly coming from Andy. It's not Blaire White's fault, but I'm just like, people of a certain age are at least somewhat an adult. right? Somewhat. Part of me wants to extend the credit that maybe Andy's just playing this up for the sake of drama and attention. Like he's not that hurt, but he's making a big deal out of it just for the sake of making a big deal out of it.
Well,
that doesn't make it. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
That brings up another point I want to talk about here, because if you watch, okay, literally what happened, Blaire White unfollowed him. That's it. That is the extent of the horrific thing she did. It's not like he heard she was talking about him behind her back or anything. She unfollowed him. But if you go watch the end of the Kumite shit, these guys keep egging Andy on.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't absolve Andy of it, but it's not like he's just sitting around stewing in it. He brings up something like this, and then they just fucking fuel his fire.
Okay.
Thank you, ex Bubba Hotep. Literally only created a Twitter to ask a chess national master a question. I can't imagine getting hurt off of someone not following me anymore. Well, I've talked. Several people have DM'd me about this, and there've been different takes on this. Some people apparently take it very personally, like if one of their in life friends unfollows them, and I just don't. I don't see social media that way. It's great if my friends are following me, but I also understand I say a lot of shit that puts people off. So I don't take it as a personal slight. So like if my brother stopped following me on Facebook, I wouldn't think, oh my God, my brother hates me. I think, oh, he probably doesn't like what I've been saying lately. Oh, well, because that's what you do. We've talked. How many times have we talked about, if you don't like something, just turn it off rather than, trying to get it shut down.
Right. Well, is it just me, or has Andy been really, really showing how easily, like, emotionally manipulated he is?
I would agree with that. Absolutely. And I've said this before, Andy's very easily influenced. And when you watch him with this group, go watch Kumite sometime when he's getting worked up about something. They just fucking poured gas all over that fire. The freak out today, I was like, what the fuck is even going on here? I don't understand. And to Andy's credit, he did come out and apologize for calling Blaire a garbage person. He said that was wrong. But the part that I wanted to get into with Deep Topic, unless somebody else has anything to add to that shit show. I saw a whole lot of people who haven't had shit to say about Blaire, well, ever. Suddenly talking about she's like the worst person ever. One dude actually said, I'm going to unsub from her. You're unsubbing because she didn't DM somebody she unfollowed. That her channel suddenly shit because she didn't DM Andy. Are you for real? Real quick, Adam, thank you. Please teach me the ancient art of Crypt Fu. Oh, that's Adam. He has a new name. If you guys see Adam R, his name is Adam, Adamn. Everybody say hi to Adam in chat, please.
Adam.
Anyway,
that's a damn shame.
That is a damn shame. He decided to give me shit last night when I was watching the Minions of the Zoo, and I'm like, okay, you want some attention, sweetie? And I gave him lots of attention last night. Anyway, I just saw a whole bunch of people who suddenly were sharing this hate, and I don't blame Andy for that. I don't. I mean, people are allowed to have their own opinions. But me and Sinatra got into it a little bit because apparently Blaire blocked Sinatra, and he did a tweet. What did he say? I can do it too, bitch, or something like that. I forget exactly what it said. And I was like, oh, you're a manly man. And somebody else jumps in there and starts dissing Sinatra for other stuff. I give my friends shit, especially if I think they're wrong, even in public. But don't assume that just because somebody annoyed me in one way that I'm going to join your crusade against them completely. Understand what I mean? Like, watching what happened with Blaire today, I mean, like I said, these are people who haven't said shit about her ever on their Twitter. And suddenly today, I mean, they're using her real name. They're talking about how she's a dude, all kinds of horrible shit. They haven't had the balls to say in months. But now suddenly, because Andy got upset with her, they're ready to fight.
Oh, yeah. I hate people like that. Fucking bandwagoners.
So is Far Cry 5 about Andy Warski and his followers on Twitter?
It could be.
I mean, so I'll just be honest. I couldn't give a shit less about, this kind of low rent drama on Twitter. It doesn't really interest me so much, except just sort of looking at it with wide eyes, going like, "Do you guys have nothing better to do?"
I mean, Scribe.
Yeah. Am I roboting?
No, he said I'm with Scribe.
Oh yeah. And I mean, like I say, I'm not trying to denigrate people who find this stuff interesting. I mean, I love a good dumpster fire as much as the next guy sometimes. Just watching Schadenfreude and watching people dig their own graves with their shovel tongues can be very entertaining. But in a general sense, this means what to me, I guess, except to say that the people starting it or turning it into a thing, like I say, part of me wants to extend that this is part of their shtick. This is their part of their being an entertainer. In a way, they're trying to do the whole Jerry Springer thing, and I'm not going to necessarily hold it against them that they're actually acting like thin-skinned children. But at some point, give it up and do something more productive.
I mean,
real quick, Sanguine, thank you. Tell me someone called him Anita or Kezian. I thought of that when he said the garbage human line. But yeah, I did.
So, I mean, if it was a dumpster fire, then I'd probably be more interested. But to me, it's literally just some homeless dude holding up a lighter inside of a dumpster. Like it's not. It's not thrilling at all, and it's like, to me, especially when I know that a lot of this shit can be staged, or most of the time they just suck that shit up and get over it. And because like they go back and forth, they argue for a while, they apologize, and then it's over. But for some reason, their fans are still beefing with each other, like the shit's still going on.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh my God, this is so fucking stupid.
Sorry, good.
Thank you, Chaos Eve. Wait, they dead named Blaire? Sigh, I'll get my white armor. Yeah, they did actually. So
now, see, like I say, I'm trying, like with some of the movies we cover, I'm trying to give it more credit probably than is due. But if Andy and Kumite and everything else thrives off of this kind of stuff, then the next time that they do a live stream and they say we'll talk about Blaire White, they'll get plenty of attention because they've just they've started drama, and then they're going to extend it out, taking it from an incident they created and turning it into news, sort of like like the old stories about William Randolph Hearst. I don't know the details of it, but it is said that he manipulated events to start a war that then he could then report on and sell more newspapers. This is, I mean, again, maybe I'm giving too much cleverness to non-clever situations. If that's the case, then people who fall for it and watch and super chat or watch ads or whatever else, there you go. It's the same. It's a very old process.
Ain't that the same shit that dude that Medicare was talking about did? Damn near.
I don't think that this is manufactured. I think Andy is genuinely hurt by this stuff.
Okay.
God, I'm going to leave it at that. I don't want to psychoanalyze Andy, but to me, he does seem genuinely hurt by this. And it is anytime that group does something. The group I mentioned anywhere or before, Blaire and all them, he seems genuinely hurt by it. And you do have to, I do look at it a little bit from his perspective. If you had this group of friends and suddenly you're on the outs with all of them, that's kind of shitty. However, you don't have to be on the outs with all of them. Literally the only thing she did was unfollow you. That doesn't mean she wouldn't still be friendly to you if you reached out to her because, say, you needed something or you wanted to talk to somebody. Blaire might still have, engaged Andy, until he set that bridge on fire for everyone to see. But yeah, the whole jumping on, because I actually saw there's a sycophantic little piece of shit YouTuber out there, I'm not even going to name, who jumped on this quick. And this little dude, he's such a little toady. he actually got mad at Andy because Andy deleted the really horrible tweets he tweeted out. It's like, you should have left that up there. I'm like, if you want beef with Blaire, do it yourself, you fucking pussy. Jesus Christ. I enjoy watching drama, but you don't need to egg it on. Let it happen natural, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. Well, people, they want to get invested in that shit, and as long as they're not involved, they're like, yes, keep it going.
Yeah.
But
as
related,
long as Andy's there to shield me when the shit blows back.
Right. Related to what you said earlier, which is pretty funny, how like you go back and forth and talk shit with your friends, but you know, don't expect if somebody starts going in on them for you to join in. I actually literally witnessed these two dudes taking the piss out of each other, and they were like frenemies. You know what I mean? They weren't exactly friends, but they liked and understood each other, and they would like go back and forth. And every now and then they would have these spats, and some dude jumped in and started going in real heavy on like one of the dudes in particular, and they both beat that dude's ass.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the guy who started doing that with me and Sinatra, I told him like, look, me and him are still friends. That's not my fight. I said to him what I wanted to say to him.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Whatever beef you got with him, that's yo shit. Don't bring me.
Okay. I want to address this too. Also, faith is abdication of reason. There's enough real bullshit and drama in the world without bullshit squabbles. But sometimes that stuff can be fun. Sometimes the personal is always more meaningful to you than anything else.
Yeah.
But to me, it's very much like watching a TV show.
Yeah, and I won't deny expending a little bit of attention and energy on something that is demonstrably harmless, let's say, or just frivolous, can be a nice distraction from ladies driving their kids off cliffs or going to YouTube and shooting people up or border wall stuff. We all need escapism, and I'm not going to begrudge anybody who finds this entertaining. I take some exception to people who are trying to make people miserable and that kind of shit. But other than that, you know, if you just want to be an observer, like the Channel Awesome stuff, I have not a personal investment in this, but I've been watching those guys off and on for years. And so seeing some things happen that are, again, people falling on their own petard, so to speak, which I've just mixed my metaphors, but you know what I mean, is sometimes a little gratifying to watch, because you can say they brought that on themselves. You know, it wasn't that lightning struck their house and burned it down because they're a bad person. It's that they did something and they're suffering the consequences of it. Now, I don't know what's going to come of this, except that Andy looks like a child and the people around him look like a bunch of frothing sycophants. But there you go.
Yeah. And I want to clarify that I'm not like saying that I am above drama or like, you know, it's just like, oh, I'm too good for that shit. No, and like this particular thing, this particular subset of drama, I just don't care about, because I've seen it dead end so many times that I just can't be invested no more. I'm just like, I don't care. There'll be friends in like 5 days. Who gives a shit?
If it was something more relatable to me than they stopped following me on Twitter. Right. I mean, like if they had met in person and something happened in person or on tape or something that was the genesis for this, that, I mean, it would still be, you know, depending on what it was, hopefully something harmless relatively, that would seem to me a bit more substantive, irate bear, than simply, you know, something high school like, oh, they thought I was stinky or something. It's just, come on,
No,
a booty head. I didn't like it.
That's the part for me, and it's why I even piped up when I saw this going on. I'm like, dude, you're talking about an unfollow. Really?
It's the plot of one of those like teenage horror movies you've seen. They like wasn't there a horror movie called Unfollowed? That was like a murder mystery or something, and it all had to do with social media, and somebody didn't like the other one.
Yeah, I think I heard of it.
It's just like this is the world we live in now. This is the world we live in.
Well, I just don't understand why he didn't, like, a quick DM, like, hey, I see you unfollowed me. Any particular reason?
you can't DM people who unfollow you.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, or anything, you know, try to get in touch with them or tag them and say, hey, What's up with this?
Oh, unfriended. That's what it was. Unfriended. Oh yeah, the whole movie was on a Skype. That's right. Yeah.
But I still like Andy, guys. I think he made a mistake here, and he even seems to acknowledge it with the final tweets that he made today. Thank you, ex-Bubba Hotep. To me, Andy needs to do self-reflection. If people you consider friends are abandoning you, it typically has to do with you yourself versus all your friends.
Maybe,
yeah.
Maybe.
That's a good answer. Maybe.
Yeah,
I've had the first thing you examine though, because a lot of people go straight for, well, what the fuck is wrong with them? But I feel like you should always be like, did I fucking do something? And investigate that first, and then after you realize, like, okay, it wasn't me, so it must be these motherfuckers.
Yeah, I mean, self-reflection, introspection is always useful. I mean, not so much to the point where you start becoming super, second guessing of yourself and all that fun stuff. But it is true from time to time that someone will abandon you in one way, shape, or form. And truth be told, they're in the wrong. I mean, I've lost friends over the fact that they did something shitty to another person. I pointed out that they did something shitty to another person, and I was persona non grata because they don't need a second conscience or something. And I'm like, okay, or I try to encourage them to face the music for their wrongdoing or something, or they went completely social justice and I didn't agree with them anymore because I wasn't willing to say that all rape jokes are evil or something. Yeah. So,
a wild irate bear appears.
Oh, substantive! I summoned him. I summoned him earlier because I said substantive, and he woke up. Somewhere in the back of his mind, he was like, "Scribe's talking about me."
He felt it. He felt that shit. Popped up out of bed.
That's right.
Eric, seriously, what the hell are you doing awake, man?
I know this is the wrong side of the planet for you to be awake.
Three-sided coin. Thank you. To my memory, this is the 12th time you've said Andy has made some missteps. When do missteps become a tumble downstairs like Clinton? You're not wrong.
Damn.
Stop defending Andy, Monkey. God, can't you see? Can't you see, Monkey?
Okay. I understand why Irate Bear don't like me, but why did he say fuck Satsu and Scribe? What did you do?
He said substantive.
Substantive, yeah. I said his favorite word. Yeah, it's his favorite word.
Meanwhile, Bear, I was happy to see you. Glad to see you here. I'm just wondering why you're awake.
Yeah, that's all.
Take your bitch ass to sleep.
He says, I'm awake every night at this time now. Well, then, hell, why don't...
Wait, and this is the first time you visited us, you bitch?
Yeah,
recently at least.
Just told on his cell.
Gosh, we should
have with your dick in your hand.
We should have him on as a special British correspondent or something. Oh, Cozy Comfortable. I haven't seen you in a while. Hi, Cozy.
Hey,
or if you've been here, I just haven't been paying attention to chat like I should. That's the other thing too.
Speaking of which, guys, we're gonna go ahead and turn it over to you. Questions, comments, concerns. Now's the time to throw them into chat, and we'll do our best to pay attention to them.
Yay!
Two three-sided coins point there. It's possible to see people making mistakes and point them all out, and eventually a pattern might emerge. And I think for Andy, the breakup of a friendship with him and Jeff, which there's some behind-the-scenes stuff there that they haven't told the rest of us about, but that seems to have broken Andy. If I'm being perfectly honest, he seems very upset over whatever it was that happened there, and I don't know. I like him. I don't want to see his show turn to absolute shit, or him too. So,
Mining Freedom says, Scribe Light, am I the German correspondent then? I think you're the escaped Spanish correspondent, because according to what Monkey said,
no. Mexican, not Spanish. Mexican.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway, so Mining Freedom can be our illegal immigrant correspondent, and Ms. Slim 1 can be our German correspondent who's living in America.
Ranting Monkey, when are you doing your long-awaited face reveal? The only reason I haven't done it yet is because my internet is so shit. I wanted to do it on a live stream, but I can't live stream video, so we'll see.
we are playing 7 days tonight, by the way, and it will be open server for everybody who was concerned about that. Sorry.
Oh, cool. Monday Matt says, do you think the YouTube shooting will have an impact on the platform in the future?
Maybe.
Yeah, this seems like such a one-off crazy thing because nobody knew who she was. She didn't have a zillion followers. The complaints about her being demonetized and all that leading to this. I mean, I don't know what her communications were exactly with YouTube directly. I read somewhere that she had some contact with them in regards to her channel. I don't know what those were. I don't know how. See, effectively, aside from the fact that this happened at YouTube, I don't know how this is all that much different, functionally speaking, than the Baton Rouge shooting, where the guy had a YouTube channel and he put a bunch of his diatribes up there too before he went out and shot a bunch of cops. I mean, his channel was taken down, of course, and everything else. But save for the location of the event, we've had lots of people do crazy things that also have YouTube channels. So I don't know.
Well, maybe if you think about the reasoning, because like, and this could be a long shot, but if YouTube is as cucked as they've been acting lately, because she wasn't white, because she's a woman, and because of all the other allegations of maybe her being trans, whatever, and they're like, we now see the impact that our decisions have had on otherwise disenfranchised people, and we didn't realize how much of an effect it was, and we're going to examine it further going down the line. Maybe.
Isn't that sort of, though, I mean, I hate to take this tact, but wouldn't that be sort of giving in to terrorism?
I mean, not to them.
Well, no, not to them, but yeah.
Okay. Well, Matt says, well, this has more to do with her targeting the company specifically over demonetization and the apocalypse as a whole. Mm-hmm. She felt personally slighted by YouTube and the algorithm changes. No one would argue that this lady was anything other than mentally unbalanced. So her complaints are already discredited as a result of that, and especially how she went about expressing those complaints. So I don't see any action. If any action is taken, I would be surprised if they would credit it to this event.
That's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
Yeah, because either way, you're not going to come out looking good if you either give in to someone who would go crazy and shoot up your own employees, or take action that would penalize others for the actions of a crazy person.
But in that same respect, she's not wrong about some of what she said. And we know this, like we saw this with the whole Logan Paul thing. If most of us did some of the shit that idiot did, we'd be gone. Mm-hmm. And meanwhile, he somehow makes it onto trending with that shit. Come on. But this is what really pisses me off about this shooting, other than the fact that she was shooting people over this. Everything we talk about now is going to be colored by this cunt. Thank you, Snubbert. You guys cover the National Guard at the border. We did earlier. But every time we have these arguments, it's going to be, well, you just sound like that crazy bitch. There are legitimate arguments with the way YouTube has presented itself lately, and the like that thing about the shooting, the gun channels. Go fuck yourself. Most of that shit is, I get it if you're promoting violence, but I mean, you're not even allowed to promote gun sales. Fuck off. That was really stupid, and I do think it's weird that those two came together. But other than that, I don't think we're going to see too much from them. Our Cat's Gay says YouTube will use this shooting to be more restrictive. I'm not sure they can get much more restrictive without just telling us what we have to say.
Yeah. Again, if they do anything as a result of this that affects users or content or anything else, they certainly won't publicize that this was the starting point for it. I would be, let me put this, I would be surprised if they did such a thing.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, Peter said somebody unfollowed him once and he's still going through therapy.
Mining Freedom wants to know what a cholo is, because I said he could be a straight up cholo. Look it up.
Urban Dictionary,
The Hate Camel says lesbians are driving off cliffs and baseball players are breaking their pitching hands by punching people. When can we talk about banning Susan Sarandon movies?
Hey,
well
now,
played, sir.
The hunger in Rocky Horror Picture Show weren't that bad.
And to be fair, Bull Durham was a great fucking movie, but yeah it does seem to be. Irate Bear wants to know why Mundane Matt is such an arrogant prick. Pot, have you met the kettle?
Oh!
And I say that as an arrogant prick, just throwing that out there. Let's see. Sorry, guys, I'm scrolling way back because we had a long talk there. So Backscan says, did you guys watch the new Roseanne episodes? If so, what did you think about the reboot? I haven't seen them yet, and I don't know.
I have no plans on watching them. I didn't watch Roseanne when it was on the first time around, so.
I second that.
Bear says, fuck you, monkey. I'm not arrogant.
Come on. We're all arrogant.
Hey, wait. Fuck you, monkey. I'm not arrogant. He says arrogantly.
Hey, you can't write irate bear like a man would.
Oh,
true. He's a bear.
He's a bear.
A dam says, geez, monkey is one popular fellow. Yes, I am. You know why?
Yeah.
Because I'm arrogant.
Well, also because the title of the stream tonight is very clickbaity for current events.
It's not clickbaity.
Come on. Who's arrogant now?
That's not clickbait. That was a and you know me, that's a story that I would love to cover, and we did. That's not clickbait. It's clickbait if I didn't talk about that.
Okay, let me put it this way. Your intent may not be clickbait, but the title is clickbait.
It's not.
Okay, with what's going on today, or just the last month or something, putting Andy Warski and Blaire White in your title isn't, just by the very nature of things, clickbaity.
No.
Again, I'm not making a judgment of your intent. I'm just saying.
I know, and I want to explain the difference here.
Okay.
This is effective advertising. It's effective advertising.
All right, you may split that hair.
Well, hold on. I mean, if you can say that, then that's like going to a pie shop and they have a sign outside that says "delicious pie," and you go in, and you eat the pie, and it is in fact delicious, and you're like, you tried to lure me in here with that sign. They're like, no,
motherfuckers.
Like, we were right. It was.
Touche. All right. It's from a certain point of view, says Obi-Wan. Okay.
Right.
A three-sided coin says, can we do 1 minute on the bike for $20 super chats on Saturday? We can't do it Saturday. Maybe next Wednesday. Saturday, we have a guest on. This has kind of become a thing for me. It's not on purpose. I just keep seeing people I want to talk to. Malcolm from the North is going to join us on Saturday.
Is it a bad thing that I don't recognize that name offhand?
Not necessarily. He's not as well known as some people, but he's a really smart guy.
Okay.
And I enjoy talking with him. Me and him have had a couple of Twitter interactions, and he doesn't take it personally. And if you just talk to him, you can have a very nice conversation. I think the first time I ever actually saw Malcolm was on an Andy Warski stream long time ago. But I like Malcolm, and I think he'll be a good guest on the show. Ranting Monkey, I'll remind you for Wednesday. Yeah, you have to, because I'm going to forget. Snubber, thank you. Money, make fun of Winnie Mandela if you really want to trigger some timbers.
Monkey, you can't read your own name.
What did I say?
You said money.
Yeah.
Oh. I mean, you used to misspell that on the titles of the streams. Now you can't. You say it out loud.
Monkey's got money on the brain.
I know, right?
Well, it was also a super chat, so I mean, it's not
my monkey and my monkey on my mind.
Yeah, I see lots of people that in chat who know him. Yeah, I see Malcolm is awesome. Nuts knows the deal. I like him.
I apologize. I've never heard. So far as I know, I've never heard of him, or at least
neither. So,
let's see. Irate Bear says, unlike certain creators, Blaire White, I read super chats. I talk to everyone and don't just ignore people like other creators.
Oh,
Some creators, I mean, some will say wait until like the very end of their stream to read off all their super chats. I don't know what Blaire does, but honestly, in some super chats, I could forgive them if they don't see a $2 super chat sit by when they've got 2,000 people watching.
Yeah.
You know, I could forgive them that, depending, but yeah.
How are we going to do? You know, I could put my mic over on the other side. Yeah,
somebody said there's like 300 people watching right now.
I could actually live stream me riding my bike.
We were at the highest I saw tonight was 305 at one time. So I don't know if that's gone up higher than that, but that's the highest I saw.
Oh shit!
And I'm sure it has nothing to do with the title at all.
No, nothing to do with it.
It has nothing to do with the title. It's because we're so awesome.
This is also true. These things are not mutually exclusive.
Thank you, Three-Sided Coin, who says, don't read this super chat. I don't take orders well.
Wah, wah.
But speaking of orders, as Pat said, back in that like button, y'all.
Yep.
Yeah,
hit it like I would hit Lebo's grandma.
There's almost literally twice as many people in here as we have likes. So
well, maybe we'd have more likes if you wouldn't tell people I was clickbaiting.
Oh, I'm sorry for giving away the secret sauce.
I am not a clickbaiter. I am good at making titles.
Okay. All right. Well, admittedly, I am bad at making titles because all of my video titles are so abstract they barely ever register on any algorithm.
Yeah. Somebody said Eye of the Tiger. Oh, X-Bubba Hotep said it. Eye of the Tiger must be playing during Monkey riding the bike. If I wouldn't get struck down for that, I would absolutely do it. But copyright.
You can hum it to yourself.
I could sing it.
Yeah.
That's still pretty muddy.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Ranting Monkey knows Scribe is good at making titles. Oh, thank you.
Okay.
Terry.
Okay. Scribe makes great titles. Scribe makes shit titles for the algorithm.
Yes, I make shitty algorithmic titles. Let's put it that way.
Right. I know the fucking YouTube algorithm be like, what? What am I supposed to do with it?
It's like my last video would only come up if somebody's looking up makeup tutorials, really, because I say oil of Olay in it. It's like.
Thank you, Circus Zero. Well, in that case, take my money. I will take all the money you will give me. As we've discussed before, I'm kind of a whore.
A little bit.
Kind of, he says.
How do you feel about being used as a urinal? Jesus, Irate Bear, why are you mad at minding?
Well, I mean, he's German, and Germans like weird stuff. So
I thought they liked the Shiza porn.
Well, that and water sports, depending, I guess.
Do they?
I don't know. Some do. I mean, yeah.
Oh, I see.
So much as I've told.
Wait. Minding is giving him shit too. I missed that part. You
Germans
two do your
giving
thing.
him shit, you say?
You guys do your thing.
As long as it's fair, as long as it's evenly spread out, it's fine.
Monkey, did you hear the kid who shot his parents at CMU is getting off because he's unfit to take the stand? I didn't, but I'm not surprised.
Let's see. If you mean pseudonyms as covers, they're allowed under copyright in the USA also, says Raven Shad. Pseudonyms as covers. Oh. Yeah, but you don't know what's going to set off that algorithm. I've seen people do parody songs of real songs that change all the lyrics, and they still get a copyright ding over just the tune being recognized. So it's iffy.
I've seen a story where somebody was hit with a copyright by somebody who didn't even have anything to do with the song on a song that wasn't in the video.
Yeah.
I try to stay away from music because of shit like that. Okay, Bear, I do have to address that. Blaire's a hypocrite for calling Andy on drama when she's a massive drama whore. You can like some kinds of drama and not others. It doesn't mean that saying you don't like that drama is hypocritical.
Muslim once says, Scribe Light, I like pushing people into pools. Does that count as a water sport? Pools of what?
She's German, so probably acid.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Does that count as a water sport?
It's an acid sport.
It sounds more like attempted murder, but whatever you like. The Cozy Comfortable says, gentlemen, you guys need smacked bottoms. Well, I need a bottom to smack is really my problem.
We don't touch the monkey butt.
Yeah, doing it to myself really doesn't do anything for me, so I need someone else's.
Trust me, he knows.
Lawyer Dog says, I love drama in bed. Isn't that what you're supposed to put at the end of every fortune cookie you read? Like whatever the thing is, and then just say in bed or naked or something. Yeah.
I saw something like that. Yeah. Let's see. YouTube deletes gun demos and hosts them in their lobby too soon. Oh my God.
Oh,
data. That was a good one. Good one.
Pools of water, of course, Scribe Light. Okay, then yeah, attempted murder.
Jenna P. Monkey, you and I are playing Who's Off?
Worse.
Playing worse off as a cripple. Who in more pain that day? Who unable to do Scribbles, will you read that?
Monkey, you and I are playing worse off as cripples. Who's in more pain that day? Who's unable to do a simple task? You want to be a normal cripple? I also do. So it's game on. No pity the fool. She wants to have like a cripple off with you. Apparently,
you want to have a cripple off. I'm a master of crip foo, yo.
Yeah, that's. Wouldn't that be like the saddest like fight video?
Yes.
I mean, it's almost like bum fights where they got two drunk guys to just like beat the crap out of each other. It's the most like completely pathetic and human thing to watch, and yet somehow people found it funny.
Thank you, Alice Morgan. Follow the cripple instead of Eye of the Tiger.
Follow the cripple.
Oh my God.
Oh man, now I gotta write like some parody lyrics for that. That'd be fun.
Yeah, that's right. Shiograd Monkey's a full-blooded crip. Represent, yo. Oh man.
Monkey, you from the hood. You know better.
Well, yeah.
Oh yeah, there's a Twitter competition for you. Take lines from Eye of the Tiger and adapt them if the title of the song was Fall of the Cripple. And maybe we can link them together into an actual song at some point.
We'll have to see. Yeah, definitely.
I got you. I already got something in my head right now.
Okay, good. Well, don't sing it because we don't want to get a strike or nothing. But.
1, 2, 3. Hi. I think is how you say that. First ever stream, about to watch on time. Love this. Glad to have you here. Thanks for watching.
Wait, on time?
What? Well, maybe they just meant that they get to see this, at least part of it live.
Gotcha.
Or maybe they've been here since the beginning.
My account. Andy had to detect an issue when he ran into Blaire during his LA video. In my opinion, he didn't seem to care until he saw the comment she left on I'm Real's video. I don't know what the hell that's referring to. Did they meet in real life at one point? I don't know.
They met at VidCon last year.
Oh, okay.
And I haven't seen Blaire's comment on Real's video, but I wouldn't be surprised if something like that didn't set it off, but I can't know that for real. So
I'm curious about that comment. What did it say?
My granddad takes half a Viagra every day. It's not a sexual thing. It stops him pissing on his slippers. You know what he needs? He needs some plastic booties.
3-sided coin. Long-time caller, first-time listener. Great stream.
Falling down flat on the street. No.
Falling down flat on the street. The fall of the cripple. It's the shriek in the night.
Blaire pretty much ignored Warski when they met. Andy never lived it down. Okay. I like Blaire's content, but Blaire comes off to me as kind of stuck up. And this, I say that as somebody that has actually had a DM conversation with her before. Actually, we had her on the show once too. Anyway, our cat's gay says another fortune cookie ending is thanks to Obama. In bed.
Actually,
thanks to Obama in bed.
In bed, yeah. Blah blah blah. Fortune cookie. Thanks to Obama in bed. Jenna P says, Scribe, it's sad you understand my lame English. You only have 200 character limit to type, and really no one got the pity the fool reference. Well,
that's Mr. T.
It's so natural to me, I don't even think to bring it up because it's just like part of my lexicon, sort of, because I grew up with it. I watched the Mr. T cartoon when I was a kid. You ever watch that?
Oh, yeah. I used to eat Mr. T cereal.
Oh, yeah, Mr. T cereal. Yeah, and the cartoon would be bookended with like live action clips of Mr. T, like giving you sort of a G.I. Joe lesson of how to conduct yourself in society kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I still remember the theme song. Mr. T. Anyway.
Lucky Seven says she can be real catty talking about Blaire. Yeah, she can.
Yeah.
It's part of her charm.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I just like chicks like that. I just, as a general standard, I'm always like, I don't fuck with bougie bitches. I just don't, just in general. And like, I've never had anything against Blaire or anything like that. But I think if I was out, like if we went to, VidCon or something like that, I don't think that I would want to hang out with her. I mean, to meet her and be like, oh, I'm in the flesh, I'm going this way now. And that would have been that. Like, I don't have a particular problem. It's just those type of people, like the way she talks and carries herself. I'm just like, we wouldn't be able to talk about much, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Devil Eye says pork chop sandwiches, and if you know what that's reference to, you're a good internet person. It's like, stop with all the downloading. Anyway.
I used to fucking actually eat pork chop sandwiches regularly.
Well, there's this series of they took the and now and knowing's half the battle segments from G.I. Joe and replaced the audio with people saying completely insane things, and they're awesome and hilarious. And there's this one where the kid sets the house on fire and G.I. Joe runs in and goes, pork chop sandwiches. Oh my God, that smells great. Oh shit, you set the house on fire. It's great.
Oh my God. Devil Eye asked a good question. Or was it Devil Eye? Oh no, it was Miss Slim one. Why do people start conversations with people who have headphones on?
Oh, I know I used headphones.
Oh, sorry. I can't stand that shit.
Go ahead, Squirrels.
I used to wear headphones to make people not talk to me because I wanted to be left alone, even though they weren't on. Like I didn't even have them plugged into anything. I just had like going down to my pocket, like the plug. I just wore the headphones because I was like wanting to read and not be bothered by anybody.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. And I used to do that too back when I was working and I took the bus. But some people would just completely. I actually actively sat there and was looking like side-eyeing this dude who was talking to me. Like me and him had been sitting there having a full-blown conversation, like hand motions and all. And I have my headphones on full blast, and he is looking me right in the face, just like moving his mouth. And I'm just like, is this motherfucker talking to me?
Wait a second. Time out.
Yeah.
Dane Norton says, it's my birthday today. First time commenting, too.
What?
It's his first time commenting to tell us it's his birthday.
Is he actually a Dane?
It seems to be his name.
Oh.
Dane, are you listening? This one's for you. 1 and a 2.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday,
dear
Dane Cook.
First time commenter.
Not Dane Cook.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday
to you.
to you.
Oh man,
Dane, I hope you had a great birthday. Same with you, P-Dog.
That was beautiful.
Oh, Mundane Man says we should come to VidCon. It's actually a lot of fun and chill as hell. I probably will not be able to make it this year. I had wanted to, but with the way my body has been lately, I'm not sure I could do anything but sit in the hotel.
Yeah, and if I've been called up for jury duty again, if you can believe it, I'm trying to tell them I already did it once this year. Don't make me do it again. But truth be told, it is scheduled to be right smack dab in the middle of the VidCon time. So I don't even know if I could schedule it if I wanted to. It's really stupid. So we'll see.
Seal77, thank you so much. Sigh, love the sound of silence. You should listen to us. We sing very well.
Oh, you like Paul Simon songs? Come on.
Expo Hotep, thank you. Oh my God. I've had people try to start a conversation with me with my headphones in while I'm laying down trying to sleep. They're lucky my energy is gone, so I can't slap them.
Mm-hmm.
And Keith, thank you so much. Better late than never. Made it in time to send you shekels. Thank you so much.
Hey, shekels.
As my good friend Satsu says, donations are not required, but they are appreciated.
Oh, there's a Weebo in the chat. A wild Weebo has appeared.
Hey, Weebs.
Throw a master ball at it.
Jenna wants to know if Data really mutes the birthday song. No. How would he know when it's over?
That's right.
Or that it's terrible.
That's hurtful. That has hurt me. Now you and me got beef. I'm taking this shit to Twitter. Seal70, thank you. No, the Disturbed version.
Yeah, Sound of Silence from Disturbed was far better in some ways than the original folksy thing because it had a bit more edge to it. So yeah, I like the Disturbed one.
If IA becomes intelligent similar to how we humans are, shouldn't we treat them like people? Ooh.
There's been several Star Trek episodes on that subject. Also, Bicentennial Man. So I don't know, maybe depending.
Are you guys familiar with the AI YouTubers?
I've heard of them, yes.
Yeah, there are AI YouTubers right now that are one in particular is Kizuna Ai, and she has millions. Well, I think over 1 million subscribers right now, and she gained them very, very, very quickly. And she's just she claims she's an artificial intelligence, but it's some chicken motion cap, I'm sure, using some sophisticated tech to use basically an anime avatar to do videos, and she does gaming and just talks about shit or whatever. And some people are very creeped out, like this shouldn't be a thing, and others are like, this is the greatest thing ever.
The only AI argument I'll make against treating them as people and everything, if you've ever seen the movie Colossus: The Forbin Project, which most people probably haven't, it's sort of like if a movie was made about the first days of Skynet becoming self-aware and having a conversation with its human creators. It's kind of a cheese old sci-fi movie, but it's actually kind of interesting on a sort of intellectual level of trying to figure out like what happens when you have an artificial mind talking to you. So,
yeah, it's I haven't seen that or heard of it.
Oh no, it is old 60s. I think it was a British sci-fi movie or something. Anyway, I am not going to hold anybody accountable for not either hearing of it or having seen it. But it's if you can find a copy of it or find it on streaming somewhere, it's worth a watch. It's not that long.
It's not.
Go ahead.
No, I was about to say, like the prospect of like having a celebrity or somebody popular that's not real is not new, because this is like a Japanese thing or whatever, because they have literal concerts for Vocaloids, which are literally not people. They're just like cartoons that somebody drew or whatever, and they sell out concerts like millions of dollars in these concerts for people to go to this stadium and watch a hologram. So, I mean, it's not unheard of, but I just thought it was interesting that this is becoming like a YouTube trend now. Like, they're actual YouTubers that are like AI fictional characters.
Ray Bear says, I don't like this attitude that you can't have friends on the internet either. I agree with that. I've seen several people, actually, Mr. Medicare is one of them, and Tonka likes to say this shit too. I'm as much friends with Scribe and Satsu as I am with probably anybody in real life now, because I don't get out of the house.
Oh, that's the only reason. I see.
Yes.
Okay.
And also Irate Bear. I mean, Irate Bear is a very good friend of mine.
To be fair, all of my closest friends, like the people who I consider the closest to me, I've never met in person.
So. And Jenna wants to get into our war. Let the war begin. I'm not allowed to leave the 3 towns around me, not big towns either, a few miles at most, unless I'm seeing one of my specialists. I can barely make it down the hall to the bathroom. I win.
Oh. Cripple fight round 1.
Shiogarath wants to know why I don't follow him on Twitter. To be honest with you, most of the people I follow on Twitter, it's because they pop up in the little sidebar. And if I don't see you over there, I probably won't follow you.
So you need to get your sidebar game up, you fucking scrub.
If it's not recommended, I forget. So let's see. That's a Shiogarath question. I know better. Guys, we got 1 minute left. We're gonna end it here.
Right.
And First, I want to remind you guys, if you're interested in playing 7 Days to Die with me and Satsu, we'll be over on Satsu 2 Cents here in just a few minutes on the open server where you can jump in and play with us.
2 cents plus, monkey.
2 cents plus.
What did I say? Satsu 2 cents? Oh, yeah, 2 cents plus.
Yeah.
I'm going to type it in. Jesus Christ. Why do you guys let me talk?
2 cents plus.
Yeah, I'm typing it out so you guys see. There it is. 2 cents plus. If you're watching this tomorrow, sorry, you missed it. Chad, thank you guys so much for joining us, for falling for my, I'm using air quotes, clickbait. Thank you for the super chats. Thanks for hanging out with us every night. You guys are awesome. Best audience on YouTube, bar none. Satsu, Scribe, a pleasure as always. Everyone, your life makes me sad. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Later.